everybody, and welcome back to Engineering Graphics. Okay, so today we're going to be learning about a new button which actually doesn't make anything physical, but it helps you to make things more easily. So, let's get right to it. We'll get right to it. So, what is this button? Well, it's under Features, and it's called Reference Geometry. The reference geometry does several things. It makes a plane, axis, coordinate system, point, and various other things if I actually had something here. In all honesty, the only one you'll ever really need to use is plane. Axis, coordinate system, point, they all have purpose, just not for your average Joe. Plane is where it's at. Now, what is a plane? Well, planes are what you're drawing on. So you have three that come with everything standard. Go to your Feature Manager design tree, this little like winner stand. You'll see the front plane, top plane, and right plane. And those are great. They work wonderfully. But sometimes you want something more. Like, for example, I'll make something really simple just to get that point across. Let's say I had a box, okay? Got a box right here, all is well. How would you go about cutting off just the corner of this box? I mean, like perfectly, like just kind of cutting straight into it right here, cutting off a triangular pyramid shape. How would you do it? It's really, really hard to think about. These three planes, and all these planes that have been created, just don't cut it. I need to make a new plane. So for that, I use reference geometry right here. I use reference geometry, notice some more have popped in, and I can go to plane. Now, that plane can be made from various things. What I usually tell it is it's the 3-2-1 rule, which if you see my other classes, there's a different 3-2-1 rule. You need either 3 points, 2 lines, or 1 plane to define where this new plane is going to be. So I'm going to choose 3 points. Okay, I chose 3 points and it created a new plane. You see right there. That is the new plane. It says fully defined, it'll be yellow otherwise. If I give it too much, it'll turn red. Green checkbox, I have a new plane. I can draw on this plane if I want to. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Of course, it went to the opposite side, as it was want to do. And features, extrude cut. You are killing me today with switching these sides. Okay, I'm going to see if I can move this around. I can't because it hates me. Okay, and we're going to flip sides. That's pretty good. And we're going to do it offset. A bit ways. There you go. Okay, and I got just the corner off. Happy days! Happy days. As a note, I would have probably made a second plane that was out here to make it easier myself. Now, before I go any further, I want to talk about why I had to choose those 3 points. To do that, I'm going to zoom in on me again. So, right here, I have a sheet of paper. Okay? Sheet of paper. Now, my question for you is, where is the sheet of paper? Like, because I can draw on the sheet of paper, I can do that. But where is it? Well, if I hold it like this, you might say, well, okay, it's parallel to the floor, and it's about 3.5 feet off the floor. Okay? Hold it like this, you might say, it's kind of parallel to that back wall, and it's about maybe 5 or 6 feet from the back wall. Okay? If I do it like this, a little bit harder, it's angled, you're going to have to give a lot more information. But either way, I'm giving something that tells the orientation, parallel, perpendicular, angled, whatever it is. And its location. It's 3.5 feet from the ground, 5 feet from the back wall, something. So that's what you're going to be giving SOLIDWORKS. You have to give it an orientation and a location. So let's go back to this and see those settings again. Okay, so I have this right here. We're going to go back to Reference Geometry, this magical button right here. Click on it, plane, forget the rest. Okay, just honestly, those are not nearly as helpful. Now if I click on a single plane, you'll see that a new plane pops up automatically, okay? And I can make it go to either side if I want to. I can create multiple in that direction, and this is fully defined because I only need one plane to fully define a new plane. And that works, it works great. Happy days. Another thing I can do is if I want to make a plane, I can choose 2 lines. As a note, they do not have to be right there. So I have a plane that goes through those 2 lines. Remember, I only need 2 lines to make a new plane. If I click a third reference point, it will get angry at me. You see how it's gone red? It says, no, you can't do that. That doesn't make any sense. There's no way a plane can go through all those points. By the way, I've said it's going to be going through these things, and it's usually really good at guessing what you mean to do. So we'll go over too many of these options. The one option I will say never to ever use is project. Okay, don't use project. It's not a good idea. Also, if I click a single dot and then make reference geometry, there is this button right here, which I would also suggest you never ever use. This is just a bad button. Because all it's doing is saying, hey, let's just pretend that your screen is perfectly looking at it, and if it was, this can be fine. But in general, your screen is just however you happen to have it at the moment, so don't use this button, because all it does is say, I'm creating a plane that's perfectly parallel to where my screen was at that instant and going through that point. That works. The point gives a location, your screen gives an orientation. It's just not a wise idea. Now let's say that you don't have a line that you want, like none of these edges is the one you want, okay? Well, what can you do? In that case, you can just make a sketch and a line. Like, why don't I do reference geometry line? Just don't. Just don't, okay? Seriously, make a new sketch and use that. So I'm going to use my top plane. I'm going to sketch on it, and I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to delete that other plane list. I think that's driving me crazy. Oh, I'm not going to do it on anyway. That's okay. I'm going to create a line. This sketch is entirely for this line, okay? I should put some dimensions. I'm not going to right now. Good. So I've got a line there. I exit my sketch. So this sketch right here is only to add that line. And I go reference geometry, plane, and I can click on first, this back plane, which it says it's green, but I don't want it to be parallel. I want it to be angled. So this right here gives me a way of angling it. So now it's guessing here. It's saying, oh, you want it perpendicular to this one and right there. The answer is no, I want it angled. And so I can change this angle right here by clicking on it, and I can start to angle this however I want. So it's making sure that this plane is angled from the original plane and always containing that line. And it will kind of rotate around that line. Okay? And it works. I click green checkbox. I can add more if I want to. Boop, 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 boop. And I can add a bunch of them. Actually, my angle's too big to add to me more than that, but if I had a smaller angle, I could have done more. Green checkbox. Okay, so this is reference geometry. Now, the big important thing about reference geometry is that it lets you actually draw on a new plane. I mean, I'm creating this for a reason. I don't just create planes for no apparent reason. Now, why would I need all these extra planes? Well, cutting off that corner right there, you can't honestly do it in any other way. Like, there is no magical tool for that. But as we move forward, we'll run into things called like lofted boss base, where I will need several planes to do that, or swept boss base, which doesn't really need it, but it can really be helpful. As with a lot of things in SOLIDWORKS, if you plan ahead, you won't need all these extra planes. Like, you can make it a lot simpler on yourself, and maybe the planes you have will be enough. But it won't always be enough. So in those times, remember reference geometry. Remember, you can add a plane wherever you want it. Just make sure you give it enough information to do so. So that'll be it for this time. Thank you all for listening. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.